This week we find a remote park up where we meet some interesting neighbours before I drop Sue off at the station and experience some solo motorhoming with just Archie and Fudge for company. I also share my initial thoughts on the suspension upgrade before heading off to Scotland to rejoin Sue. But first, hello, we are Kath, Sue, Archie and Fudge and have been living and travelling in our motorhome for over 2 years. A recent change of circumstances has led us to the decision to finally sell our house. After some general maintenance to get it ready for sale, we are back on the road for more adventures. Good morning. Well, this is where we stayed last night and it's not far from Settle. It is on Search for Sites, that's how we found it. And well, it's, as you can see, it's an absolutely glorious location. It is just a one-night stopover, which is why it's just perfect. We had some friends up here last night. Suddenly heard this, it felt like somebody was knocking on the outside of the van, and I looked out the window and there were some cows. They looked like highland, the highland cows with the big horns. Don't know whether they were or not, but I think we're parked in their bedroom because when we woke up this morning, they were literally all around the van, lying down, some of them anyway, and then they all kind of looked up at us to say, good morning, neighbours. It was really, really lovely. Anyway, I'm about to embark on some solo camping for the next few days. Sue is taking a train. I'm going to drop her off at Lancaster and she's taking a train to Scotland where she's catching up with her mum for a couple of days. I'm going to solo camp. I'm going to have a few days at one of my favourite places, so you'll see that when you get there. And then I'll have a little bit of time with my parents before I go and pick Sue up again. Well, here we are at Lancaster Station. Sue's in the background there, picking up her bag, all packed and ready to go. Looking forward to seeing your mum?
Yes, I am, very much. It seems quite a while since I last saw her.
It is quite a while, isn't it? You packed lunch?
Yes, got my lunch.
To cope with this mummy whilst you're away. No, there's nothing to eat up to. Do I get one as well?
See you on Sunday.
Say hi to your mum.
Yeah. Say hi to your mum and dad as well.
I will do. Make it a little bit easier. See you later. Be good.
Yes. Will do. You drive safely.
Plenty filming.
Yeah. Don't forget to film Lucy.
I will. Later when I get there. Arrived at my happy place in Ambleside. Just got here, had some lunch, and I'm now going to take both of the dogs down to the river because it's really hot and I'll be able to push Archie to somewhere where I know he can then walk and we can get down to the river, give them both a dunk in, they'll enjoy it and it'll help them cool off. And the non-water baby is well into the water. Archie's been in, he's got the ball. It's a little bit rocky, so it's a little bit tricky for him, but I will throw it once again because he's enjoying actually being in the water. Do you want me to throw it? Drop it then. Are you ready? Steady. Go. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? Hey, that's nice. Ready, steady, go. Well folks, it's that time again. I'm solo camping, I haven't got Sue here, and I've now got to make my tea. Now, if you've watched this channel for a while, you'll know I am capable of making quite a good chili con carne. In fact, it's probably one of the only things I'm any good at making, but I do like it. So that's what I'm going to do now. Wish me luck. Now, whilst that's simmering rather vigorously in the background, let me tell you what's happened. My wonderful wife, who is normally so organised, forgot to tell me there was no rice. Normally that would be in the cupboard. So I've gone and bought some. But they didn't really have any, and I've had to go for this stuff. Boil in the bag. Well, it's better than nothing, so I'll have to give that a go. Let's hope it tastes okay. Well, after me saying that I make a mean chilli, I did forget one ingredient. It was quite an important ingredient. It was the chilli. So I tasted it and thought there's something missing here. Aha, I've forgotten the chilli. Quickly threw some chilli flakes into my portion and some more chilli flakes into the extra 2 or 3 portions that I'll be eating for the next few days. So disaster was averted after all. Good morning. Well, I had an absolutely brilliant night's sleep, although I did get up about midnight because I couldn't see Archie, and he'd fallen out of his bed or taken himself out. I'm not quite sure what happened, and he was kind of lying underneath the table, and it was almost like he was a bit stuck with his mobility. So we got him out and we had a little wander and a wee at midnight, but apart from that I had a beautiful night's sleep. I'm just about to take Fudge out, so we can't go for too long because we've got to leave Archie here by himself. But we've all been out this morning and had normal morning wheeze and poos and that kind of thing. It's a little bit cooler today down here than it was yesterday, but that's going to be much better for the dogs during the day. Sorry, got distracted then. Just seen a little grebe of some description in the water with 3 little chicks. Gorgeous. Last time we were walking along this river here, and I'm pretty sure it was the last time, the river had broken its banks. We couldn't even get to this spot, and houses further up the river that I'd passed already were completely flooded. So it's nice to see it's recovered here really well. I wonder how those poor old householders have gone on. Well, I don't know how this is going to work because I don't think I've ever done any longer walk before with Archie in the buggy, with Fudge with me. But we're going to give it a go, and I'm going to try and walk maybe not quite as far as Rydal Water, but there is a really easy lane that I can walk along and take them both with me so that Fudge gets a decent walk, Archie can walk and ride. Let's see how we get on. It's been raining on and off, so no special mic. So I'm not sure whether this will pick up the wind. We'll try my best to shield you from it. Anyway, wish us luck, we're on our way. Well, so far we've only got as far as Rothay Park, but I figured that if I was going to get me and Archie in the shot, and maybe even Fudge, yes, then I was going to have to stop and just sit for a minute. So we're walking through Rothay Park, which is right next to Millersfield where I'm staying, and I'm going to head on a road, a very, very, very quiet road, which goes all the way to Rydal Water. That'll be today's afternoon walk, which hopefully means that Fudge, we can have a bit of a run around. As I say, it's a really quiet road, so she can just charge around at the side of the road, and Fudge can have a ride, and when he wants to stop and have a little rest, sorry, no, the other way around, he can have a little walk. When he wants to stop and have a little rest, he can have a ride. Now, I don't know whether you remember and whether you were watching. Last time I was here, the river was really high, and these stepping stones were about a foot underwater. Should we see if I can get across them without falling over? Well, I made it. The dogs weren't very happy leaving them here watching me. They're pleased to see me, and I'm not even wet. Well, that's it. We're back at the Aire. So I'll get these two their tea, and then I'll do a bit more editing. I've just been hit in the face with a spot of water. Well, good morning. Woken up to a second wet day in Ambleside, and I'm out with Fudge again. Left the old man, they both had a little walk this morning, but left the old man snuggled on the sofa whilst Fudge and I head off down to the river. Again, it's I can't walk her as far as I would normally do because I don't want to leave Archie too long by himself. But she'll get about 40 minutes now. And then I'll get back, and you never know, if the weather improves we might be able to sit out. If not, it'll be more editing. It's raining again. When I woke up this morning, I must have forgot to put the brake on Archie's buggy because it was blown and it was right outside the van door, and there were big pools of water on the waterproof cover. So I'm hoping it's relatively dry underneath that cover. I haven't taken it off yet because it's just been raining on and off. Still quite warmish though. I know the temperature's dropped from the first day we arrived, but it's much more pleasant for the dogs. If only it would stop raining. I've spotted it. Blue sky. Just a little bit. Well, I am stood by the Roman remains that are here not far from Waterhead. And I'm stood by the south gate. And the south gate faces the lake, and it is thought that the Romans would have used water to transport people and goods. And of course the Windermere is 10 miles long, so actually if you got goods to the southern tip of Windermere, you could get it all the way up here to the north by boat, and then just a few hundred yards walk and you're at the main gate. This is apparently the main kind of cornerstone of the gate. Now, you can't see any big castle ruins behind me. They literally are all at ground level. But I think it's fascinating, nevertheless. And we know that the Romans got this far. In fact, they even got further because they got all the way up north as far as Hadrian's Wall. Now, I'm stood here in front of three main buildings. Commanding officers, a house would have been there, the headquarters building in the middle, and then at the far end, the granary store. And behind this area where you can just see grasses behind me would have been the barracks. I've no idea how they work all that out, by the way. but there's a very useful sign here that tells me all about it. Can you imagine what a shock to the system it would have been for a Roman soldier to come all the way from Italy in that lovely weather to arrive here in the Lake District, where, quite frankly, there's a lot of rain, and often it's quite cold as well. I'm not sure what they would have thought about it. Maybe they liked it. I mean, some of them must have stayed. Isn't it also amazing that you can do the same walk, or roughly the same walk, 2 days on the trot, and you get a completely different perspective and different sights, sounds. Oh, I thought I'd tell you, I've got this app called Merlin. You've probably heard of it. It's one of those bird identifiers. And when I was in Cannock Chase and I was just chatting to a guy and he had it. So I've been trying that out for the first time today. And already in just a kind of 2 minutes of recording, it's picked out great tits and Eurasian blue tits, which for me is probably just a blue tit. Isn't that fascinating? Well, I've just come back with Fudge and dropped her off. And I'm now out for my third walk of the day with Archie. Now, the only walk that really counts is the one with Fudge, because Archie's is just a minuscule little walk around the field, which is directly adjacent to Miller's Field, the Aire. And this is also where we come first thing in the morning as well, when we've woken up. I was going to talk about whether I miss Sue. Of course I miss Sue. I mean, all this walking. When she's around and she goes out for a run with Fudge, I only have to worry about Archie. And then in the afternoon, it's my choice really to go out for my long walks with Fudge. Never a chore. Well, I'm back at the van safely. I think I'm managing this solo camping fine. There's lots of walking to do because, you know, our dogs need to be walked separately. Although you've seen yesterday's walk, we managed to get them both out at the same time. Anyway, today I am going to pack up later on this afternoon. There's no particular time that I've got to leave here. So I'm going to pack up later on this afternoon and head down the road and catch up with my parents for a few days. I'll probably see you later. I thought I should give you a bit of an insight as to what difference the suspension has made. And as I'm saying that, I'm just realising I haven't taken the grill pan out of the grill, which we normally do, because it rattles like Billio when we're driving. So I'll come back to you in a minute. I'll stop and sort that out, and then I'll tell you what I think about the drive. Okay, so now I can hear myself think again. What do I think about the suspension? Well, so far so good. I've driven just short of 100 miles now, so that means I'm going to need to check the torque on the wheel nuts very soon. But overall, let me try and describe it in my words. So they talked about a smoother ride, and I would say yes, it's definitely a smoother ride. But in my mind, I thought smoother ride will mean, you know, perhaps a bit more cushioning. And it's not that at all. The biggest difference for me is when I go around corners and, you know, we're in the north, there's lots of windy roads that we've been on. It feels like the whole motorhome is stuck to the ground, if that makes sense. So it's much more sturdy as you're going around corners. So it doesn't, you know, it doesn't feel as if you're tilting quite so much. I was going to say, so it feels like you can go faster around corners. Now, we don't go very fast at all. In fact, quite the opposite. We're usually pootling along. But it doesn't feel like I really have to apply the brakes, you know, before I go into a corner quite so much as I would have done before. So if that's the definition of a smooth ride, yes, and it's really, really noticeable. You know, the fact that I'm now in a position to upload the vehicle, that was the reason I did it. Actually, a byproduct for me is just how much more firmly the whole vehicle feels on the road. So this is it. Oh, you're fighting a fridge? Oh. Why are you fighting a fridge?
Because you know it's locked.
There's my mum looking glamorous and Dad in his overalls. Nice to see you both. Woodland walk this morning. Really nice woods actually, not far from where my parents live. Today's the day we're going to pick up Sue. Now, I'm going to be dropping the dogs off at my best friend from my old school days, and she's going to look after our dogs for about 3 or 4 days. And that's because we've decided that whilst we're in Scotland and I'm going up there to pick up Sue, we're going to have a look at some properties. That's not because we are thinking of immediately buying anything or anything like that, but just that we thought whilst we're there and it is the area that we've thought that we would quite like to settle down in the future, we'll just have a bit of a poke around. That's why we're not taking the dogs with us. And it'll be the first time in 4 years that we've been away for the dogs for more than just a night. So I think they'll be all right. They'll be well looked after and treated. Finger licking good, right? Good morning. She's with us. I didn't film anything yesterday because, well, I just wanted to see her when I got here, but she is here. Lean over and say hello.
Hi.
Well, folks, I think that's it for this week. Sue's gone shopping just to get a few provisions for the next few days. We won't be taking the camera with us. Obviously, we're looking around other people's houses, so that wouldn't be very appropriate. So we're going to pick you up again next week when we'll be heading back south. We've had some good news on our own house, so unfortunately we're not going to be able to stay in Scotland for as long as we'd hoped. Which is, you know, every time we come to Scotland, we, for all sorts of reasons, end up having to go back earlier than expected. We do hope to be back in Scotland again, maybe late summer, but for now, we're going to see you next week as we're heading back south again. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.